the Shura Council, which is the second, it's a bicameral council in the parliament. So the appointed council, we have many women. Some of them are Christian. One of them is Jewish, because the king needs also this international coloring. So this is what's going on in Bahrain, and this is where women find themselves fighting for. I close here.
Questions, comments?
I have a question. When you mentioned the issue of representation and women running, does redistricting and gerrymandering play into it at all?
A lot.
And
That's what makes
okay.
areas where there are intense Shi'i presence are made smaller districts, compressed, so lesser representation. Areas where, like my friend is, and she is clearly going to take the Shi'i as well as the Sunni voice, they've added to it areas where they have many of these newly naturalized Bahraini who will vote for the opposition. There were almost 30 votes last time between her and the opposition, who is of the Asala extreme religious Muslim Brotherhood group. Okay? So that is there. And of course, like I'll tell you another example. She is running, her posters say, "We are against corruption." The posters were pulled down. So the government is saying we are corrupt, in other words. Okay? It was pulled down by the government. She took them to court. And they said, no, we never did it. But these are tactics, continuously. The Wifaq have theirs pulled down. Sometimes, of course, they have oppositions. There are people who are loyalists, who do not want. The Shi'i-Sunni is a divide, but it's not what is all that is in Bahrain. In the 50s and the 60s, there was a communal nationalist movement in Bahrain between Sunnis and Shi'is. No question.
Yeah, I have just a general question. What motivates you, to look at women in Bahrain rather than other countries? Because I see that their rights, are better than other countries, for instance, in the Gulf or other ways.
Like where?
Well, the Saudi Arabia, for instance, just an example.
In Saudi Arabia, women are not talking because there is better distribution of wealth. Here, a main thing, a reason is that there is poverty. You have to understand, poverty makes people meet and talk. And therefore, they begin to look at the causes and the reasons, where are the sources. It is only the few who are really motivated by just the beliefs, okay? Not everybody, so it is cross-section. I chose Bahrain because I have lots of very old contacts with Bahrainis. Some of my nicest, best friends during my undergraduate years were Bahraini women, with whom I maintained contact and I'm interested in their lives. I have lots of Saudi friends, and many Saudi friends have found a much more contorted way of getting their rights, getting things done, because there is wealth. There is easier way. And of course, there are problems in Saudi Arabia. Similarly, in the UAE, where I have lots of friends, and in Qatar. But these societies do not have the same character as Bahrain. Bahrain is the most exciting of the Gulf because it represents the disparity in very intense terms, and therefore helps you find the formula and the theoretical aspect of what could happen everywhere else, because here it's so intensely expressed. It makes for clearer lines. Yes, I hope I answered.
How much violence, you talk about these tensions there, but there must be some violence that accompanies this, where people are intimidated to the extent that they don't say anything, or where people are killed occasionally, I would think. You didn't mention any of that. But
Thank you. This is a good, yeah. In fact, it's a peaceful people.
Okay.
Very peaceful people. But it has reached a point where particularly the Shia youth and the villagers go out and burn tires continuously. There was a death of one policeman recently. They break into cars of the police. They have burnt some property of the very wealthy, but not too much. Even then, it is controlled. They are a very controlled people. But there is latent.
Sure.
I see it. I feel it. There is anger. Anger because people are aware and have been asking, and it has been going on for a long time. And now, recently, the events in September is that the government said they have discovered a cell of people who are trying to overthrow the government with a coup with the help of Iran. It's usually Iran because it's Shia. I mean, don't forget the connection. With the help of Iran, and the people who have been caught, I mean, they have put them on television, under torture, supposedly they confessed, and the lawyers, some of them that I have interviewed, are the lawyers of these males. The stories are out. There is a Human Rights Watch report that's condemning of Bahrain that torture has come back because in the 90s it was practiced. It's supposed to have stopped. It has come back in September. We have now stories that tells us torture and for investigation is there, and therefore that's violence, and that's violence from the government.
I know the presentation was focused solely on Bahrain, but has this violence kind of stemmed over to other countries in the Gulf?
First of all, in Bahrain, the Shia community make almost 70%. In all the other Gulf states, they are between 20 to 24%. And they are very well placed economically. Many of them are co-opted gently. It's in Saudi Arabia where you have the protection. And whenever there are issues in Bahrain, the eastern region of Saudi Arabia becomes very tense. Even to the point that the government forbid pulpit speakers to give their sermons recently because of the tension. So there is, but it's latent. All these governments are repressive, and repression is not vocal, it is smart. People are given enough to really be placated.
It's a really interesting subject. I was wondering if you could just expound a little bit on the extra challenges women have to face in running. Because I imagine they run into obstacles since they haven't been running in these kind of elections for very long, but few in number. Do they have the money? Can they get into places?
Okay.
How do they...
I have to tell you, my friend is very wealthy. She is running a very proper campaign, and that's why she's running it for principles. And her husband supports her. And I know from her that he told her, I'll give you all the money for this campaign. You know, I mean, I'll give you an idea. It costs something like $500,000, $400,000 to $500,000. And that's why the other women are independent. Some of them are supported by the NGOs. But the government supports women candidates. They want that projection. No religious organization has put a woman on its platform. Neither the Mithaq nor the Wifaq, the two Shi'i groups or the two Sunni groups that are extremists, the Asala and the Mithaq, and the Wifaq and another one, did not put any woman, and they don't believe women should be presented.